Alright, here it is. It's the raspberry toast cookie. What is that? Never seen a fish that looks like that. The rumors about Evil Dead Burn coming to HHN 35 this year. We can get a look of how the stage looks for Nightmare Fuel. Okay guys, we're back at Universal Studios Florida. It's time for another Halloween Horror Nights 2026 update. It is the first day of Scare Zone announcement week. So we're gonna go over what just got announced. There's court updates. There's massive construction updates. Leaks that happened out in Hollywood. There's so much to go over in this update. So on that note, it's time to talk about the Halloween Horror Nights shirt of the day. We're gonna go back to HHN 2025, the Slash vinyl album that released, and also the Slash Scarecrow house. As you know, Slash is John's BFF. So on that note, we're not showing a Slash commercial. We're just gonna show some vintage Murdy clip.
Hey, I'm John Murdy, creative director of Halloween Horror Nights, and welcome back to a behind-the-scenes look at Halloween Horror Nights 2008 here at Universal Studios Hollywood. Today we're going to take you into the construction phase of our haunted attractions, and we are standing in front of one of the many haunted attractions that you can experience at Halloween Horror Nights this year. When you look at all of the work that goes into creating these haunted attractions for Halloween Horror Nights, it's basically equivalent of building 3 movies simultaneously. So right now, all of these guys who normally work on movies and television shows are moving as fast as they can and switching from location to location so that we can get everything into our production schedule. Right now I'm standing next to, of course, one of Freddy's boilers from the iconic Boiler Room from Nightmare on Elm Street. What we're actually doing right now is we're building the entire Nightmare on Elm Street maze off-site so that we can evaluate it before we rip it all down, move it back over to Universal Studios Hollywood, and set it back up again. And this is a brand new maze for 2008. We're going to take everybody into Freddy's house, 1428 Elm Street, and then from there we're going to go into the surreal world of nightmares, and we're going to take you into the high school for the classic no running in the hall scene. You're going to see Body Bag Tina. We're going to do the famous scene where the Freddy snake eats a poor young girl, recreate that live for Halloween Horror Nights. We're also doing something that we call Pukey. It's a famous scene in the Nightmare on Elm Street series where Freddy force feeds an anorexic girl until she gets incredibly bloated and basically bursts. So for us, what we really want to do is we want to have this girl puke all over our guests. Not only do we want her to spew puke all over our guests, we want them to smell puke. Last time we talked about the design process. Well, now we've moved out of the design process and we're in the production process where we physically construct these haunted attractions. Where it starts is the tent. When our guests look up, we don't want them to see anything but what they think is dark sky. So we actually have to go to the trouble of finding a giant black tent that we can erect here on this property. Then we start building the walls, and after the walls are constructed, then we start bringing in all of our artisans and craftsmen to put up the painting and the scenic decor and the props, and we spend an awful lot of time focusing on every single detail of this attraction.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Ludden, production coordinator for Halloween Horror Nights. We start our mazes by basically building all the walls, and then we apply to the walls either paint treatments or wallpapers or very scenic elements. And then once we have that up, we age it and make it look a little bit more disgusting and bloody. And then bring our props, everything from dead bodies to furniture to any number of things that will make maze that much scarier. After that, our finishing touch is always blood splatters all over the place, which you can see we have a little bit here.
By the time we finish this attraction, you're going to feel like you're living the horror movie.
Okay, welcome back. We got some updates right next to us. They have finally plugged in the truss. All right, it's the movement we've been waiting for. All right, let's start at this truss first. Over here. Now these lights have been up here for weeks. We've seen the cord just chilling in there for weeks, but there has finally been power connected to it. You can see the cord coming out, going down through the bushes. So we're gonna follow it along the fence line, loops around there. So it's a looping right there. It's gonna keep going, then we're gonna see another one. It's gonna combine the second truss here with the lights. We can see the cord coming out and going down there. Let's go find out where they all end up. It's still going. The two cords are still going. How far does this go? They're now still continuing along the fence line. What are we gonna end up in? Hard Rock? Well, next one, we still going? It's still going. The cords are still going. Okay, next one. Cords are still being run. So they start over there and they're continuing along the entire fence line. Where are these things gonna end up? We're at the last section now. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is where it ends up. They have the box right over there. So the cord that is connected from the truss end up connecting to the little box. All right, so we see the box there. I don't think it's fully plugged in. but then we see the cord running along here. I never noticed this little pet relief area right next to the entrance of Universal. They have little doggy bags and everything for your dog to go to the bathroom. We've made it to the arch. The construction wall has appeared. The gates have been removed right here. So you can see there's the gates right there. These gates have been removed. They repainted the front entrance. It's rumored they're gonna do the same paint job on the archway and then also change out the style of the logo on the archway. We'll just have to wait and see. All right, it's time to head into Universal Studios and see what's going on inside the park. First thing in the morning, so it's a little busy getting in. So we saw the cords all get installed the other day where it runs to the roof. Nothing new with the little tower. We saw the ladder be installed. We saw the little base where the performer can stand. And then the support anchor that's been down there for a couple days now. All right, so we have a new set of cords. So we got the famous little box right here. So that has appeared, and we have the thicker cords going up. So we have the thinner cords going, but now there's a whole new set of them that are being run up the truss, I'm guessing to be connected to something. I don't think they've been connected yet. All right, so the cords are still looking the same on all the other trusses. It's just that one new set of cords that are going up and over. I'm gonna pop into Today Cafe. There's a cookie that dropped a couple weeks ago. I wanna try it finally. It's weird. There's like a slab of butter on it. We've returned to try this thing. It's gonna be the raspberry toast cookie. There's like butter or something on top. All right, here it is. It's the raspberry toast cookie. So there's a piece of white chocolate on top to make it look like a slice of butter. Now you can have them toasted. It's kind of the secret to the cookies. It tastes just like toast. A truly bizarre cookie. It has the consistency of an oatmeal raisin cookie, but imagine there was toast. And you know how you kind of like scrape off kind of the crummies on top of the toast sometimes when you're putting on jelly? Imagine the crummies fell to the ground. They morphed it into a cookie. They got a little hint of the raspberry kind of jam on there, and then the white chocolate piece has the consistency of butter. It's not like a hard white chocolate shell. It's like a kind of like a white chocolate ganache almost. It melts in your mouth. You get a variety of different textures and flavors in there. I'm doing 7.5 on it. Definitely get it warmed up. Into the Brown Derby we go. See what discounted merch they got. Got a little Bride of Frankenstein lip journal. Tongue toffee. Chocolate covered hard toffee with nuts. Nothing new with the prop piece. I'm sure this week we'll see some bigger pieces pop up. Maybe tomorrow. We're gonna pop into 5 and Dime, see if anything has changed or evolved. All right, so we still need 5 more IPs to be announced. So we'll have 2 more house IPs, and then we'll have some Scare Zone and maybe Tear Tram IPs that get announced. And then nothing new with the horror makeup show. But what is new is kind of the leak that happened with Universal Studios Hollywood. Jake was doing an HHN update, and he was on the Tear Tram. And as you can see, people were tweeting out about the video that he posted. Hey, check this out from the most recent Jake video. The covering that was over the sign for the house by the Jurassic World attraction has flipped up, so we can clearly see it said DeVille underneath the covering. Now this kind of changes everything. This is confirming this is a original house. Since that posting, the covering has been taken off so we can get a better shot of how it looks. So this could be alluding to this is either someone related to or is Maxie DeVille from the Universal Horror Hotel back from HHN 2022. But John did answer some tweets about that theory.
There's John Murdy right there. John!
So someone asked John this: have you guys ever tried to do a maze themed around the mummy? John says, not me personally, but my art director did at HHN before me. John, can you give us a few hints of the theme of the Tear Tram? John says, sure. There's a plane crash, a motel, and a tram. So then Five Fires says, is that you, Maxie? And then John says, the plot thickens to the unveiling of the DeVille name over the facade. John, is the Universal Horror Hotel making a comeback this year at the Jurassic World extended queue? John says, no. I saw the Jurassic World queue had a sign that said DeVille. Are we getting Mr. Maxie again? And something for his backstory or a new spin on Horror Hotel? John says, isn't that an interesting development? It's not a hotel, and you know, Maxie was executed for his crimes, but with access to that old dame's bread, he may have had more than one business in early Los Angeles / Hollywood. Then someone says, John, I know you said this wagon prop is for a scare zone this year. Could this be used in the very near future for another possible house? They're comparing the Welcome to Derry wagon to the one that's waiting in the holding lot. John says, if we could have done it, we would have. It sounds like John is implying that they were trying to get the It Welcome to Derry rights for a haunted house, but it fell through. And then someone says, John, after seeing this part of the Jurassic World facade accidentally leak, you're fired. Everybody's fired. I didn't even tell them to cover it. It tells you nothing about the theme or what's inside. So that name links to an old HHN house. So let's show you the walkthrough for that. So originally we were supposed to have Evil Dead Rise that year. They didn't get the rights to it, so they did their own Universal original version. They just did a slight overlay to the Rise house. But the next year they did have Rise. So you know what, let's show you a back-to-back version of that. We'll show you the original Universal Hollywood house, and then they redid Evil Dead Rise out there for that.
We are heading into Universal Horror Hotel. Oh. There's little rats moving down there. All right, next house of the night is going to be Evil Dead Rise. Now, they built the house last year, then they had to switch it, but they've reverted back to how it was built. Little Boo, explain what's going to be happening.
The next house is going to be Evil Dead Rise. An ancient curse rises in a new setting, an LA apartment building. The Book of the Dead is about to unleash unimaginable horrors on you and your Scream Squad. Evil has come home.
Church approval to translate the spiritual secrets its pages might hold.
It's in me. So we could stay one perfect family. Join us.
Over here in the window, you can see some new lights have appeared. We now have covering over the electrical right there. It's all kind of tied up to the tree to protect it from the elements. So it looks like the LEDs are plugged in. But then like this is where you first come in and they got one of the boxes all covered up. Yeah, so each tree with the LED strips is gonna have one of these boxes. Let's go find the rest of them. Over by the media center. We saw the massive cord go all the way over there, which then loops into the bushes over there. But we got some new stuff. There's more cords coming out the opposite way, going across there. Then it loops over here, is going through. We can also see another one of the boxes that's covered up, that's connected to the LED strips. Here's a better angle of the covering. You can see the small cord running through the bushes over there, which then connects to over here, it looks like. And the same thing with these lights. We got a little box that's been covered up. All right, looks like they've tried to cover up some of the cords with some mulch, because that was fully exposed the other day. Over by the little gift shop here, we got this tree with the LED strips going all the way up it. But then over here, we have some more cords that are bagged up. So many things that are not plugged in yet. And then back here, it's also covered up. And then we see the other LED strip going all the way up this branch. And then over here, with this tree and the LEDs, again, you can see all the wiring going all the way up the tree, but there's the box in the back. We can look over here. Again, we see the box with the LED strips all connected to it. And then there's wire running through the entire grass area back there. We also have a new cord over here that's been bagged up, just waiting to be plugged in to something. Tiny little wire cord running along the base of the fence right there. You can see it kind of zip tied up, but where does it lead to? Where's it going to? All right, so it goes all the way along the fence line. Then we can see it right here, but then it kind of goes all the way back there and connects the cord mess back there. But we now know what this cord is. All right, so if you look closely, it says it's a DMX cable. So I think this is just kind of connecting all the LED lights together. Nothing new with the little stage yet. Again, we're gonna have to wait for stuff to be announced for the bigger set pieces to start to appear. And then no power being run to this truss yet. Back to the sprung tents we go. Nothing. It is a ghost town back here. We're in a content drought. We can get a look of how the stage looks for Nightmare Fuel. We heard them testing the music the other day. So it looks like the aesthetic of the stage is kind of that grayish color, right, to fit with the noir theme. We're over in Club Gorge right now. We got some speakers, because they gotta be pumping the tunes with something. So we got a new speaker on each one of the trusses. Nothing being run to the truss yet. So you also have another speaker right there, and then another one when you're coming out of the Fast and Furious attraction, right there. And then the last one will appear right here. So if you're standing right there in the center, you're gonna get bombarded with all the club whore music. They're working on the house back there. They just grabbed a saw. They're sawing up something back there behind Fast. We're gonna pop into Starbucks real quick. They got the new Starbucks bear, the strawberry one. It does not include a drink though. It looks like there's a little hidden secret inside of it. I just think it's the instructions. Okay, so now we're gonna see the new Evil Dead Burn movies. Enjoy our review, and then we'll come back here and we got tons of updates still to go over. Okay, so we just finished Evil Dead Burn. I got many thoughts. Here's my first initial reaction to it. I just saw Evil Dead Burn. Evil Dead Burns is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It is unwatchable. It'll be taught in film school about how to not edit a film. It hurts your eyes every single second. It is just, I wanted to vomit. There were so many cuts. Like every second there was a cut, and none of it made sense. There's a good story kind of within it, but
is just terrible. Oh, don't go watch it, but you are gonna have to watch it for this year. It hurts. We're in Celebration right now. We're switching up a little bit during the HHN update. We're gonna get some good food because we need something happy in our lives after watching that mess of a film. Now, bad news about Soft as a Grape. The store is apparently closing forever at the end of the month. Yeah, here it is, store closing, Soft as a Grape, 30% off everything. All sales final. Yeah, this was a staple of Celebration since 1996. I get a little Celebration Jaws shirt.
You all set, my dear?
So we did some research on why the editing was so bad. Like, it is a monstrosity, a crime against cinema, the amount of cuts in that film. Every single half second there's a cut. So the editor, he's like a music video editor. So it's edited as if it's a freaking music video. Who picked him to edit the film? The cinematography was just so close up. You couldn't see anything. I'm gonna spoil every single shot of Evil Dead Burns for you, okay? This is every single shot of Evil Dead Burns. I hope you enjoy this horror movie. It's crazy. There was one decent scene that was in the trailer where it's kind of like a longer one take that I enjoyed, and then one kind of scene with like a ceiling, but everything else, I hate it. I was super pumped. I'm a big Evil Dead fan. Love the original trilogy, loved the TV show, loved Rise. I was like so pumped. This is like an MCU Avengers level. This thing is gonna be awesome. And I hated it so much. First 5 minutes, I wanted to like vomit and have a seizure because there's so many cuts, so many different flashes, so much going on. Your brain will hurt. Hi, Adam. What is your review of Evil Dead Burn?
Oh, it's so bad. Literally the first like 3 minutes, my head is starting to feel pressure and I'm like, what is, every second there's a new cut and every shot is so zoomed. Oh my God, it's terrible. Awful. There's like no redeeming thing about that movie, in my opinion. In my opinion, nothing redeeming about it. Terrible. A 3 out of 10 is generous in my opinion.
Okay. What would you give it out of 10?
I'd give it like a 2 out of 10 personally. Okay. Personally, but I don't know. I'm really critical on horror movies. There's nothing redeeming about that movie. The writing, the directing, the editing is terrible. Awful.
You know what's not going to be awful is the food we're about to eat at the food truck. So many different types of food trucks here. Throughout the year, they have the food truck like wars. Out of this world, why do you want this pizza?
It's vegan pizza, and I've heard Universal Orlando vegans, they rave about this place. I've heard really good things, so I'm excited. I don't eat dairy, so I'm really excited for this.
You can always trust the little alien guy right there. Look at him. Oh, there it is.
Oh, yeah.
Got the pizza. 4 slices.
This is a 10 out of 10.
It's a must.
This is good.
All right, we got some lemonade here. Lemons with love. There's some options. I feel like you can't go wrong with a Florida strawberry. It just tastes like a strawberry Kool-Aid. One of the difficulties with figuring out what the food looks like is it's all like AI art. So a lot of these food booths now, it's all just AI art. So does it actually look like that? Who knows? I don't live in cartoon world, but I want to try it, but also I don't actually know how it looks. Like, this is just insane. I've never seen crab clusters look like that or a lobster look like that. Again, it's all just the AI art. Just like take a photo of how it looks on a plate, put it on there. Like, salmon doesn't look like that. I want to try the food, but then I see this and I'm like, This is one piece of fish. I couldn't tell if it was a grub or a piece of corn or a chicken tender. What is that? Never seen a fish that looks like that. All right, so we got this truck, 17th Legends Best Pork Taco winner. So it's like a bao bun that's like buttered and toasted. Taco was decent. Lemonade was decent. The pizza, I had Adam's pizza. He's right, that thing's a 10 out of 10. So far, that's the only thing I really get again and really suggest, but we're gonna try Cousins Maine Lobster. We got Cousins Maine Lobster. They've been on the Today Show, Good Morning America, Shark Tank, Food Network. We're gonna get the Connecticut roll. That's the warm lobster roll. It might be small. Hopefully it's mighty though. Really good lobster roll. Right, you are paying for a real lobster roll. Now we're gonna get some cheesecake for dinner. So you got the Cheesecake Man right there. They got an apple crunch, raspberry, strawberry, Oreo, plain tiramisu and turtle. Here's the Oreo cheesecake right there. Here's the caramel apple crumble cheesecake. So we put in our votes. So right now we got pizza place number 1, number 2, cheesecake place, and then the lobster roll. So we'll see who wins. We have a cord here. It's gonna be running all the way to the DJ booth, all the way over there.
Let's give it up for our top 3 food trucks.
You got second place.
Yes, sir, second place.
So if they want to try your pizza, where can they find you?
Anywhere in Orlando. Sometimes I'm in Lakeland, I'm in Apopka. Just follow my Instagram, Project Nova Pizza.
It's good stuff. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Again, the gym is trying to raise $20,000 to get all the neon fixed. Right now, the only stuff that is on is the ON. Okay, on the clock. It's like a hornet's nest that is growing right there. Okay, let's go back to Universal. I want you guys to have a little variety of the HHN updates because they can get repetitive sometimes and you get to see what I do when I'm not living at Universal. So let's go back to the theme parks and see what's going on with the truss.
And then nothing new with the stage here and the truss, but let's see what's going on with the stage. Now they installed all these pieces the other day. Looks about the same. There's been no more details added. It rained pretty bad this weekend. We can see all the wood starting to warp. They've not drilled this down yet, but you can see it all warpy now. I don't know if they're gonna have to replace this or redo it, but they never drilled it down because there's still more stuff coming, but it's all warping because of the weather. See, that's like starting to peel off now. Can you even use this? Because all of it is warped. You also in here, it's all warped. You can see it warping a little bit.
So we have our first Scare Zone announcement for the year. It's gonna be the Scare Zone right here. So Universal announced this Scare Zone announcement: Infernal Carnival of Nightmares. Jack and Oddfellow invite you to step right up and see what horrors hide in every shadow at a sinister spectacle decades in the making. And as you know, the first letters of Infernal Carnival of Nightmares spells out icon. Ramon had this to say: come one, come all to the Infernal Carnival of Nightmares. And then Michael had this to say: our first Scare Zone for this year announces your definitive entrance into Jack and Oddfellow's Infernal Carnival. Much like our entry into the conservatory last year, this is full of teases and surprises of what lies ahead. So it sounds like they'll probably have the greatest hits represented within all the Scare Zones in the carnival in the front. Kind of like what we've seen years in the past. You'll see a different character from each Scare Zone represented in the main Scare Zone. So we'll be seeing a lot of different things pop up in that opening Scare Zone.
We just went to see if they had the Odyssey popcorn bucket Trojan horse. They said they only got 6 of them and they sold out instantly. So if you're looking for that, they said they're not even gonna get restocked when the movie comes out.
Okay, let's go back to the office and let's talk about the rumors about Evil Dead Burn coming to HHN 35 this year. Okay guys, we're back in the office. So now let's talk about all the rumors about Evil Dead Burn coming to Halloween Horror Nights 2026 this year. It's been on pretty much every single spec map. It is heavily rumored to be coming for Halloween Horror Nights this year. But as we talked about earlier in the video, you could literally have the house designed and built, and then you gotta change it because you lose the rights. So it could be potentially coming, it could not be potentially coming. Again, nothing is ever official until there has been an announcement for Halloween Horror Nights. But it looks like this week we're gonna get pretty much most of the Scare Zones announced. And then probably next week is when we could potentially, if this house is actually happening or if this rumor is real, a Evil Dead Burn house for Halloween Horror Nights 35. So Scare Zones the rest of the week, and then probably Evil Dead Burn. Let me know down in the comments, what are your thoughts about Evil Dead Burn? Some people loved it. A lot of people loved it. A lot of people hated it. There really is no middle ground. Let me know down in the comments, what were your thoughts about Evil Dead Burn? And we have a busy HHN update week ahead of us. So on that note, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. And if you have not already, hit the subscribe button and join the family.
We love the family.
Because I'm gonna keep you up to date on all things Halloween Horror Nights and Universal Studios around the country. I love you all. I'll see y'all very soon.
You can see it warping a little bit.
All right, from the pizza place, I just got a vegan calzone thing.